I know the Leafs won, but should Leaf fans be concerned that it took them until overtime to beat the Sens? What? No? Hey, you gotta ask the question. No, you don't. Let's go! Why not? The Toronto Maple Leafs! I guess my brand is a yell and scream. I don't script these. Are the Leafs alright? So what you get is from the heart. Welcome to LFR. Victory puppies, buddy! Oh, nice catch. Don't mind him. He's a little wet. He was in Pierre Dorian's box last night. Uncork it, baby! Leafs win! 3-2 in overtime over the Ottawa Senators. Let's go! Coffee all over the ring light. Oh God, where else is there coffee? That's how I know I'm maturing, because I saw Pierre Dorian throw his drink after the Leafs won in overtime, and my first thought was, now somebody has to clean that up. No, that was my second thought. My first thought was, yo, let's talk about that game. So, it's one of those games where you have no idea what's going to happen. First and foremost, it is a game between the first in the division Leafs and the last in the division Ottawa Senators, which means the Senators have a clear-cut advantage. There's no rhyme or reason to it. They give the Leafs trouble, the Oilers kill them, which when the Leafs play the Oilers, you know what that usually means? The Leafs have done very well against them. It makes no sense! But the other thing you got, the Ottawa Senators playing games on back-to-back nights with travel. How did they land that, by the way? Leafs, meanwhile, coming off of their second 4-day break in 10 days, and one person's fresh team is another person's rusty team. One person's tired team is another person's dialed-in team. You just don't know. So the only option you have is to actually play the game. And when they actually played the game, the Leafs were clearly the better team from puck drop. Within the final 90 seconds of the first period, the Leafs are out shooting the Senators 12-6. They're on the power play. They got them on the ropes already. No goals though, and that's been a theme of late, and a challenge for Sheldon Keefe, I gotta imagine. We all know Matthews battling the wrist injury. We don't know how well he can shoot the puck, at least by his standard. But even though the Leafs have been in a bit of a downward slump recently, they've been the better team in the lion's share of their games. Out shooting their opponent, getting better chances. They're just not going in, and the puck is finding a way into the back of the net. Except for when Jack Campbell's there. So this is another period of, okay, all right, stick to it. You're out shooting them. Your opportunities will come. Sure enough, the Sens clear it. Jack Campbell gets the puck behind his own net, misplays it. It is in the Leafs net for a shorthanded goal from the Sens. Who scored it? Connor Brown. That makes it hurt more, doesn't it? And the Leafs somehow go to intermission, the losing team. Let me say it. That's a dang it. I know, I don't often bring the Sportsnet channel stuff to this channel, but that is a dang it. What do I say? What do I always say in my Steve's Dang It's videos on the Sportsnet channel? If you were a goaltender, tend the goal! He wasn't tending the goal, he was behind the net and the puck goes in. But then after the game, Sheldon Keefe is like, yeah, well, our players got to do a better job of helping Jack in that situation. And I'm like, Sheldon. And then you know what? I went back. He's right. Senators forechecker is coming in hot. He's going to be first to the puck. Nylander, just with the speed of a fart. I don't know what the thought process is. It looked to me like he checked the wrong shoulder and didn't see him. Here's the problem I see, and this is when Jack Campbell was forced to move the puck. His two options are obviously go forehand, and you hopefully ring it around the boards to TJ Brody, or dump it on your backhand where there's another attacker coming in for the Sens by the name of Connor Brown, and no Leaf in sight. Where Nylander is standing here, he's a non-option. It's essentially a 2-on-1 for the Sens if you're Jack Campbell. So Campbell's like, all right, I'll try to get it to Brody, and then the pass is broken up. All of a sudden, the puck is in front of the net. Now, not only is Nylander not a pass option, but he is directly in Campbell's way. Jack tries to dive in front of it, can't get to it. Connor Brown gets to it first. It's a 1-0 Senators lead. Easy to blame that one on Campbell, and I know Freddie would have got a real tough ride had that been him. But I am not sure how much of that is his fault. So now intermission is interesting. You've had kind of a frustrating run of games, and now you were clearly the better team in the first period, and then a just really boneheaded play leads to you losing. You can let that deflate you, or you could do what winners do and keep moving forward. Keep doing what you're doing. And that's exactly what the Leafs did. Meanwhile, though, the Leafs are trying to beat another miracle goalie for the Sens. This is the kind of season it's been, by the way. The last time the Leafs played them, they weren't supposed to get Joey Decord, and they get Joey Decord, who had 0 NHL wins under his belt as a goalie. Not only does he play, but he plays extremely well and wins. In this game, they get Anton Forsberg, who is finally allowed to play. Multiple waiver claims, multiple trips to and from the border, and quarantine. Recent goaltending experience includes one AHL game. This should be a guy that the Leafs feast upon. Sure enough, halfway through the second, he hasn't allowed a goal. Austin Matthews wide open net, and he snares it with the glove. Yep, that's about right. This dude is wearing Winnipeg Jets pads and a mask. Oh, the Sens are smart. Win or lose, the Leafs have had difficulty against Jets goaltenders this year. Oh, they're so smart! Oh, the Leafs are never gonna beat this guy. I know he's gonna get a 40 save shutout. Until later in the period, still no score for the Leafs. But the Leafs attacking on the rest. Zach Hyman throws it in front for Ilya Mikheyev. Score! What do you mean it's no goal? Okay, so here's what happened. Hyman passes it. TJ Brody with the excellent defensive play that led to this rush, by the way. He gets in, tips it perfectly. Well, almost perfectly. It hits the crossbar, but the rebound hits Ilya Mikheyev and goes in. The goal is immediately waved off because the official, who could not see what happened, thought it was probably a high stick. The reason he couldn't see what happened is Mikheyev's body was turned to completely shield the puck. So, in that case, I don't blame the on-ice call. Or actually, now I'm wondering. Because he couldn't see that it was a clean goal, but he also couldn't see that it was not a clean goal. I guess basically the no-goal call was, I want to take a look at this. So they do take a look at it. They look at it on the replay, and I gotta say, kudos to the officiating crew for a less than minute-long review. What a treat! They usually take half an hour to see if it's offside. But they see that it's clearly no harm, no foul. The puck hits Mikheyev in the upper body. He's like even trying to avoid contact with the thing just instinctually, but it bounces off him and goes in. Superman gets his 5th of the season. It's a tie game. And can we just say, Ilya Mikheyev, who deserved that goal more than Ilya Mikheyev? You know how many goals he's meant to score this year that he didn't? Nobody deserves a fluky one more than Ilya Mikheyev this season. Good for him. So now we head to the third. 1-1 game. Tight. More than halfway through the third period, the Leafs have an offensive zone draw with a line that I cannot get a proper hold on. Matthews and Marner are the first line duo. Doesn't matter who they're playing with. For the last couple games, it's been Wayne Simmons. Galchenyuk, Tavares, Nylander, that makes perfect sense. Mikheyev, Engvall, Hyman, I really like that line, except it's the 4th. And then Thornton, Spezza, Kerfoot is really the everybody else line, you know? I love all those players. I think the organization loves all those players, but it's a strange line. Well, the everybody else line gets to work. The Sens end up winning the draw, and the puck goes into the opposite corner. Thomas Chabot goes into the corner. Joe Thornton putting pressure on him, so he makes a quick pass. Kerfoot intercepts the pass, yard sailing Brady Tkachuk in the process. Bonus points for that. Kerfoot gives it to Spezza for a one-timer. Bang! Off the bar and in. It hit a body in front that caused the bing. I don't care. The Leafs finally take the lead in a game where they've been the better team all night so far. And I get that this must have been frustrating, but what have we learned? Like, there have been 3 goals in this game. You want to go through them? Misplay behind the net leading to a shot on a yawning cage, goal. A random rebound off the crossbar hitting Ilya Mikheyev in, like, the shoulder. And a one-timer that went off a Sens defenseman. How did it go off a Sens defenseman? They put it on net! If the regular season is leading up to the playoffs, and we're looking for lessons that the Leafs can learn, they're learning a couple right here tonight. How to stick to a game plan. How to score when you're not scoring. How to not get down on yourself. I know it's the Sens, but like, how many Senators games do you need to watch to know this team's no joke? They're not the best team in the league. They're not. And they're not good on paper either. But they try every game. And it's amazing what you can do in this league with a little effort and a few saves. And just like that, the Leafs pull off the... No, they didn't. It's Ottawa. Less than 7 to go. Jack goes to play the puck again. He misplays it, and the Sens score 2-2. Jack, you are a goaltender. 10 the goal! Except, wait, Sheldon Keefe's voice in my head. Let's watch it. Jack Campbell played the puck in a situation where maybe he shouldn't have played the puck. Why did he play the puck? Oh, well, there's those guys wearing red should not be there. I don't like that very much, do I? 2 Ottawa Senators get behind every single Leaf. That seems bad. Jack tries to make that not bad, but unfortunately, Alex Formenton gets in there and he scores. The criticism I have there, I think this one is actually worse for Campbell than the first one. The first one, I genuinely understand why he kind of got screwed by his teammates. Yes, the Leafs did let two Sens sneak by him, but I don't think they would have had a ton of time and space, and it would have been a weird angle of a shot for the Sens, and I think Campbell probably stops it. But the Sens score, and I suppose we're going to overtime. Anyone got eyes on Evgeny Dadonov? Sorry, just people don't forget. In the overtime, Matthews, Marner, Riley, Keefe turned to those ponies every opportunity he got. They got like at least half the ice time. Matthews coming in, stopped. After an Austin Matthews chance, the Senators somehow get a 3-on-1 where Matthews is the only guy back. Thomas Chabot tries to hit Drake Batherson with a pass for some reason, and Matthews, on some Goku stuff, bats it out of the air with his knee. I'm sorry, I don't know what Chabot's thinking here. Chabot, obviously, Batherson has a breakaway if he hits him with this pass. I understand that. You know what he also has, though, if he doesn't make any pass at all? A 3-on-1! Want to leave one guy back? You still have a 2-on-1 with a forward as the one. Why would you pass this? So now he's got to make a quick cut. Austin Matthews retrieves his own puck there after the breakup. Matthews walks Chabot like a dog. Which, maybe we shouldn't use that. I like dogs. Put it this way, when Chabot addresses Austin Matthews, he has to put Mr. in front of that. Wicked move! Oh my god, this is gonna be the best goal of his entire career! And he hits the side of the net. And it should be mentioned that I was watching this overtime period in my basement under a lowered part of the ceiling, and I didn't realize it. So when this happened, I jumped up and smacked my head on the ceiling. That should make sense, fans feel better. After the failed attempt by Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner retrieves the puck, passes it to a wide open Justin Hall in front, uncorked! His second goal of the season. The Leafs win it in overtime, 3-2. Questions. First and foremost, before questions, this is big from reporter Chris Johnston. It sounds like Canada's reduced 7-day quarantine for NHL players acquired from US-based teams will take effect later today. And he tweeted that at 9 in the morning. So, I don't know if you saw this news, but basically, if you come to Canada from the States, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. The borders are closed. So, let's throw a random name in there. If the Flames were to acquire someone from the Avalanche, they would have to quarantine for 2 weeks. Obviously, someone or someones made a request to the federal government, and now the quarantine period is 7 days with boosted testing. Obviously, this is enormous, and now Canadian teams acquiring a player or players, those players will only miss, I don't know, maybe 3 games, 4 games, instead of like 6, 7, 8. Huge, and obviously, how does this affect the Leafs? Greatly. Not really a question, but Sens 6 skaters on the ice for a solid 11 seconds. Leafs snoring, refs snoring. Yeah, so as long as the discussion is about makeup calls this week, should there have been a makeup call there because the refs clearly missed a too many men on the ice penalty? No! 2 wrongs don't make a right, guys. If they miss it, they miss it. It wasn't the only one they missed. Speaking of which, many people asked about this. Wayne Simmons wanted an explanation. This was from when he was tripped and there was no call, and the ref covers up his mic during their conversation. Now, I think we're all hot about the Tim Peel stuff, and we need to dial it back a bit. Not everything has to necessarily be nefarious. Now, it's a terrible look at the moment, by the way, for the ref to be covering their mic, because the first question everybody's gonna ask is, well, what are you hiding? And the question is perfectly legit. What are you hiding? But I think there's a big difference between what Tim Peel did, which was accidentally reveal he was trying to call a makeup call, intentionally trying to call a penalty on a certain team. And this guy, I think it was Eric Furlat, just trying to have a conversation with another player on the ice. And if the conversation is picked up, even if he doesn't say anything that's like breaking the rules, we're going to break down absolutely everything the officials have to say. Even if he's not even wrong and he stands by his opinion 100%, it's going to be a hard time for him. That being said, I don't know if we should care. I don't know. Can they handle having a microphone on or not? Because keep in mind, it might not just be Furlat protecting himself. Who knows what Wayne Simmons is saying in front of a hot mic, right? I know it's not a good look, guys, but what do you think he was saying? Hey, Wayne, I didn't call that tripping even though it was. That being said, where the hell was that trip? For anyone curious, you want to know how the sequence of penalties went in that game? Ottawa, Toronto, Ottawa, Toronto, Ottawa, Toronto. Probably just a coincidence, but also probably not. The Dorian drink throw Any thoughts? Yeah, if I'm Thomas Chabot, I'm probably feeling pretty uncomfortable about, well, that overtime in general, but also my general manager's reaction. I don't know if Pierre Dorian spoke. I imagine he's not going to regarding the drink throw, but I mean, he was probably mad for exactly what I pointed out. There was no reason to pass that puck. It's such a low percentage play. You have a 3-on-1. But if you watch it, like, he looked at his phone and he thought about it and instead went drink. You might call that hot-headed. I call it maturity. He threw the less dangerous thing. Certainly the less expensive thing. All right, one more question. Did you work at the zoo? For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Austin Matthews, pretty good player, even when he's not scoring, like 2 goals a game.